What's going on, cigar enthusiasts? What's going on? Welcome to another segment of Virtual Smoke Deck with your boy, Jack the Cigar Enthusiast, and Epic Fail, right? Sorry about that, but back to it. So, welcome back to another segment of Virtual Smoke Deck. Today is a good one, and I'm pretty positive that you're going to learn something, if not a lot of things from this segment, just as if we learned last week, man. What we got coming in today is a great friend of mine and is also an investor with Dapper D Cigars. So we're going to dive in to a little bit of the mindset you need in order to really be an investor and think about opportunities that you want to invest in, but also more or less than anything, just to have a good conversation with a solid brother of mine that I think we're all going to learn something from. But with that being said, before we get going with this, I need everybody tuning in to go to Darian Jackson, which is my Facebook, or Jack the Cigar Enthusiast YouTube. Press that watch party that we posted on Facebook and share it to everybody across your social media platforms. My goal is to get at least 20 to 30 people watching at one time. If y'all would help me with achieving that goal, I will greatly appreciate it. That means the people that are sharing, you got to stay your butts on here too and watch for a little bit. But with that being said, man, we're going to go ahead and get started and really start going into everything that we have going on today. We have an action-packed lineup of questions that we're going to throw at Brandon and really get them going. But with that being said, before we get going on this, we're going to go over something that everybody can appreciate and everybody can theoretically use. 10% going on the DapperDCigars.com off your entire order. And that way you're able to save some money while also shopping already affordable prices anyway. So for all y'all that goes to those cigar lounges, be like, Jesus Christ, they busting my head on these cigar prices. Yeah, go to DapperDCigars.com. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and introduce our special guest. Brandon is a 29-year-old naval officer that also has a unique mindset for investing and simply trying to gain a bigger portfolio so he can kind of change that narrative. So he can change that narrative for his family and leave his legacy, which is everything that me and Brandon is going to talk about. So without further ado, let's introduce Brandon. What's up, champ?
What's going on, big guy? How you feeling today?
Man, I am good. How you doing today?
I'm feeling well, man. I'm doing well. No complaints on my end. Thank you for having me.
Man, no problem. You know your home is always here, and I like that freaking polo you got on, man. Tell us a little bit about that polo.
Hey, I tell you what, there was a very passionate man, interesting man. Learned a lot from him, gained some trust in him and from him as well, and I had an opportunity to work with him. I've got an exclusive shirt here. You see, my color is a little different than yours, right?
Yeah, it is.
So hey, there's a reason for it, though.
Absolutely.
Thanks to you, I happen to have an opportunity to become an investor in this incredible company, Dapper D Cigar Emporium, LLC, and I get an opportunity to be part of the team, and I appreciate you, and I thank you for it.
Man, most definitely. What you smoking on today, champ?
Man, today I've got a Cornelius and Anthony Ariel Gordo.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
you
sir.
Smoking something good, something big too, huh?
Hey, straight out of Dapper D's Emporium.
Hey, that is a fact. Brandon, you got that cigar in our beginner sampler, correct?
Yes, sir, indeed. Want to make sure I got my palate where it needs to be so I can continue to go forward with my journey. Yep.
Absolutely. And you know what's crazy is a lot of people, start their cigar journey and they think because, he's an investor with Dapper D Cigars, then he must be a cigar enthusiast. Actually, Brandon started his journey with me. and he smoked a few cigars prior to that. But we're getting him right. He's gonna know the top of the line cigars and what has smoked the top of the line cigars by the time I'm done with him. So, man, that's a phenomenal smoke. So one of my personal favorites, especially in the Cornelius Anthony lineup. Today I'm smoking on a Melanio Olivia V Melanio 2014 cigar of the year. This is a box press Toro. One of the cigars you can find on DapperDCigars.com, which is in the tickler below, just in case that you happen to forget, because we didn't mention it enough times. But anyway, man, let's get ready. Before we even get started, this is a virtual smoke deck. So before we even can actually roll into the conversation, we need to do one main thing. And what you think that main thing is, B?
Let's put some smoke in the air.
Man, we got to put some smoke in the air. So let's go, champ.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So for everybody that's watching, you need to go ahead and get your cigars going right now, because conversation's about to get real good. Man, I haven't had one of these Oliva Series V in a while. Remember my first time smoking this thing, man. I wasn't new. I've been smoking for a while, probably like 2 years or so. And okay. I came across this thing, and man, one of my favorite medium to full body cigars that I had smoked that really got my palates going, man. And I'm pairing this today. Once I get it lit. Just for everybody that's watching, it is very important to do that blow at the end, because that's how you know your cherry is all the way lit. But anyway, like I was saying, I'm pairing this good thing up with some Ciroc brandy today. This is personally one of my favorite concoctions to have, especially when I'm smoking my cigars, especially a full body cigar. I'm all about making sure that you're pairing your cigars wisely. And sorry for that burp right there. When you first light your cigar, you get that full peppery taste and all those bold flavors in the beginning. It can be a little overwhelming to your palate, or a shocker to it for that matter. What you're pairing with that fabulous Cornelius Anthony Ariel Gordo?
Oh man, so today, one of the local black-owned businesses around here, the Him Nutrition, they make this really good energy tea. I had an opportunity to mix it up with a little tequila today. So I get a nice little balance of up and down. It's gonna be good along with this cigar.
Getting fancy on me. Fancy. I gotta watch him. He gonna have me sipping on green teas and cognac here soon.
Hey, in no time, whenever you're ready.
Hey, I don't blame you, bro. Go ahead and get it. Hey, without further ado, man. Oh, come on, baby. I already know. Without further ado, now everybody that is new to this segment of Virtual Smoke Deck, what Virtual Smoke Deck is, it's really more of a cigar podcast that's really geared around the conversations that you will typically have when talking to people within a cigar lounge. One thing that makes cigars unique is the conversations that you're able to have with all people from all walks of life. That does not matter where you come from, does not matter what you do for a living. It's all about brothers and sisters just simply here able to, what's up, Camille? Everybody that's here able to have a conversation. So one thing that I wanted to do when I started Virtual Smoke Deck was bring entrepreneurs and people that have a ton of gems in their mental toolbox, and let's drop a couple of them on the ground, because I really believe that, especially in business, one thing that really sets you up to be successful is the more knowledge and understanding you have, while also doing something that you may enjoy, which is just smoking a great cigar. So with that being said, a little bit about me. My name is Darian Jackson, aka Jack the Cigar Enthusiast. I am the owner of Dapper Cigars, located here in Jacksonville, Florida, and we're the home of the premium and boutique cigars, champ. Cigars, let's go. And I'm originally from 45 minutes south of Chicago, which is a small town called Kankakee. But if you ever been to Kankakee, you already know they get it in. So with that being said, Brandon, go ahead and open up with a brief introduction of yourself for us.
Sure, absolutely. And again, thank you for this opportunity. It's incredible to have this platform. Thank you for everything you've done so far and all the things you've introduced me to. So again, my name is Brandon Carter. I'm a lieutenant in the United States Navy, naval officer.
Come on.
I've had an opportunity to pursue my electrical engineering master's degree out here in Monterey, California right now. Some of the things that I've been afforded the time to do as my kind of side jobs are, I own Easy Ambiance. It's a health and wellness online store. Very fun, very great opportunity to kind of expand that knowledge of fitness. Another thing, I'm a health and wellness coach. So along with having a store, I'm a coach, and I get a chance to sell products to those same folks who allow me to coach them, which is great, fun, and keeps me motivated to keep my body right. Can't smoke all. Your body's not that good, in my perspective. I want to be good so I can enjoy this leisure. Some of the other things, right? I have an opportunity to invest in the Forex and stock markets. Very fun, very cool. It's doing some good things. We'll get to that a little later. I'm the brand ambassador for One's Legacy Clothing, which is actually where this hat is from right here. Of course, being an investor in Dapper D's Emporium, LLC, and then also just doing a couple things in the community as well here in Monterey County and anywhere else I can impact.
Man, you know what's crazy is he didn't stop with Dapper D's Cigar Emporium. He didn't stop with a wellness coach. He didn't stop in investing in the stock market and Forex. He didn't stop in his online health and wellness website that he has. He didn't stop. The thing about where a lot of people go wrong is they feel like they are only allowed to do one thing. You know, don't get me lying and get me quoting the wrong things on here, but there was once one billionaire said, in order to become a billionaire, you have to do plenty of different things, but you have to master one and be really good at one. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand is you want to be wealthy, but guess what? You didn't become wealthy off of owning that one business. You didn't become wealthy off of, selling, as many cars as you possibly can. You get wealthy based on how much money you invest into other avenues and into other resources to make money, but also how many things you got your hand in. You have to put your hand in those pies to really get a fair cut. So, Brandon, where are you from?
So, bounced all over. Mom was a Navy nurse, but I call Jacksonville, North Carolina home. But at the same time, I'm a proud Eagles fan. Let's not forget.
Absolutely.
Let's not forget.
Fly Eagles fly, baby.
Yes, sir, indeed.
Hey, Brandon, you call Jacksonville, North Carolina home, and it's really hard, especially as a military in a military family, to really call somewhere home, because every 3 to 5 years you're kind of bouncing around, and you have already experienced that within your career as well. From the Naval Academy to Jacksonville, Florida to Monterey, and then after you leave in Monterey, you're going where?
So after I leave Monterey, the plan is to go to Yokosuka, Japan. I'll be working in a shipyard or a regional maintenance center out there. So, yep, the shipyard repair facility.
And that was really what I was getting to is it's really hard to call a place home because you bounce around. But for you specifically, you call Jacksonville, North Carolina home, which a lot of people don't really understand or know where that's at. Just give us some, brief history of Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Sure. So for me, what Jacksonville means to me is when I came from, so I was living in Okinawa, Japan. Again, mom's a Navy nurse. She worked right there on the base at the hospital. Now we moved over to North Carolina I go to high school there. I'm the new guy in high school, ninth grade. And I know it the best because I got to finish my high school career there. And Marine Corps base in Jacksonville, Camp Lejeune, as they pronounce it. But you'll hear people say Camp Lejeune as well, right? But at the same time, I call it home. I'm very comfortable there. I have friends still there. And by the time it was ready for my mom to go for her orders, we packed up and moved to Maryland. I got an opportunity to go to the United States Naval Academy and graduate there in 2014. And I go back to Jacksonville when I get a chance to. I've been back a few times, but it's been a while since, so I need to make my way back.
Absolutely. Let's make our way back with Dapper D Cigars.
Indeed, let's do that.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Before we get going, I need to give a special shout out to my beautiful wife, Renisha Jackson, for tuning in and doing her wave emoji for me. You know, I said if you give yourself a wave emoji on my comment box, I shout you out. Those 2 people only listen, but keep them coming because we're going to keep them going at this episode. Let's go ahead and, reel into it a little bit. Like I said earlier, Brandon is an investor in Dapper D Cigars. And a lot of people have, some kind of misconstrued understanding that when you invest, now you become majority or any of that. We're not going to go into the breakdown of our deal because that's not what we're here to do. But what I do want to, kind of dive into is what was the mindset that you had to develop to, one, take on the opportunity and understand the opportunity that was in front of you, but what also made you want to invest into Dapper D's Cigar Emporium?
Man, so that's the big question with a lot of answers, right? But I think that for me, at least,
we got nothing but time, by the way.
Perfect. So I'll get into it then. So for me personally, I think as an investor, I wanted, one, to make sure that if I was going to be investing capital, I wanted to make sure I understood what I was investing in, as well as who I was investing in. Now, again, that goes down a lot of different avenues. But some of the main things are, if you're going to invest in something, do you believe in the passion behind the boss? Because if you're an investor, more often than not, you're not going to be the face. You're not going to be the hand that does whatever needs to be done. You may have a sway, a vote, something like that. But at the same time, it's not on you to run that company. So now you have to have a mindset where, okay, I don't want my ego to take over what's going on. I'm putting in a piece to assist. You specifically, when we were doing this deal, I said, man, this guy's got a lot of passion in what he's doing. He really believes in it. He's good at it. He's got experience here. This makes sense to me. So I would say to people, make sure it makes sense. And not only makes sense in an emotional state, but make sure it makes sense with the numbers. You were very transparent with me. You showed me the operating agreement. You showed me the rules. You showed me the layout. You showed me the numbers, where everything was going. And that was important to me as an investor, because I wanted to know, okay, if I'm giving this much, I'll be assisting this much, and this is going to be my return on investment. So those are other things to consider, that return on investment and how long it'll take to get it. Again, make sure these things make sense.
ROI.
Yes, sir, the ROI. And another thing I would say, when you're considering an investment, make sure that you're being patient. Make sure you're in a mind state that is not forcing you to rush a decision. Make sure that the person that's asking you to invest is not asking you to rush a decision. Those things play a major role in the decision you make, because sometimes we go off the emotional cuff and we may make a bad decision because we didn't read the fine print. But all that is necessary to make a successful deal that is actually good for you and your future at hand. So those are just a couple of things I would say that made me only want to invest in you, and then just be an investor in general. Understand the capital, understand who you're working with, why you're working with them, and then understand some of the bigger things like, do the numbers make sense?
Absolutely. And he hit on some great points, and I think everybody should definitely take heed to those points, because too many times we want to do impulsive things. Impulse when it comes to investing can be the quickest way to derail a large amount of money into something that's potentially already on that track to fail. Just because somebody's trying to start something and they're your friend, they're your homeboy, one thing that you do not mix is friendships and business. Because at the end of the day, you start your feelings and your mental makeup and how you see things kind of get deterred. And I think that was really great from, you know, our relationship and how we developed our relationship. I'm going to take it a step back and tell you guys how I met Brandon. Now, on my last ship in the Navy, Brandon was an officer, more of a division officer within the engineering department. You know, real recognize real, and it doesn't matter what rank you have. I came in as an E5. When he left, I was an E6. So we it was different, you know, from E5 to E6. But at the end of the day, Brandon was always there to lead, you know, lend that listening ear, that knowledge that you need in order to kind of get around the political BS that you deal with within the Navy. And what's crazy is ever since we connected, we've been clicking. I'm not going to say we was the best of friends, but I tell you now, we have grown really close together. But even more simply due to the fact that he had respect for me, I had respect for him. We just clicked. You know, he was there when I got promoted to E6. One of the few people I took pictures with was Lieutenant Carter. He was there on his going away party. I don't care. I'm out the Navy now. You know, going away party. You know, I was the first person that's going away party. We took pictures there. And then he went ahead and left to Monterey. We stayed connected then. And we just kind of got with it. And as I was searching on my journey of trying to figure out who can I bring this idea to, because the last thing you want to do is bring an idea to somebody that's not ready to receive that idea. Now you just wasted your time, you wasted your breath, you wasted all your hard work and energy that you put into something on a what if. What's crazy about it is Brandon made a very valid point. When you're talking about investing, there is never a rush to do it. Never a rush to do it. I want to make sure I make eye contact with the camera because too many people try to rush into things. And again, you're on that track to destruction. One thing about what was unique about our thing that we could agree to is I made sure I expressed to Brandon several times that if it does not make sense to you, I want you to pull out. I didn't care where he was at in the decision process. If it does not make sense to you, pull out. And I mean 100%. We had to come to the agreement that it made 110%, as a matter of fact, because that's the type of relationship we were building. Now, you know, it's just crazy. The thing about it is me and Brandon's the same age. Well, he's a little bit older than me. I turned 29, he's 29, but younger, you're not younger than me.
I'm 29 right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm about to be 29.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, yeah, we're good. You're right.
So, you would think that, you know, this guy is just, he's a lot older. No, we're two brothers that understand that we have to change that legacy for our families. We have to leave behind a legacy for our families, and overall, we have to rip out those chapters in our book that we didn't like and rewrite the chapters, and that's what we're doing now, man. So, man, I really appreciate you sharing that because I really feel like people need to hear that. But of course, it went over a couple people's head, but we're not gonna get stuck on it. You know, having that maturity that you have, right? What led to that? You know, did you have a lot of, you know, father figures, your father? Did you have a lot of older males pouring into you? Because a lot of the conversations that me and you have, that's not a typical 29, 28-year-old conversation. We're having big boss conversations. You know, people that may have felt like we experienced life a little bit more. So what helped in that maturity level for you to get to this point where you're like, you know what, we're going to start building our portfolio?
Yeah, great question. So early on, mom was the person of the household. You know what I mean? And with that in mind,
Absolutely.
she gave me a lot of game. It was me, my mom, younger sister, and my grandmother in the house for the majority of the time. Um, my stepdad was there, and then I had an opportunity to meet my father when I was 13, and then see him in person when I was 16. So with that in mind, a lot of people would not expect me to be in a position that I'm in currently. And because they tell us 25 years old, if you make it past that, you did all right, for us. And now, getting back, I had a lot of people pouring into me from my mom's age group, so I had an opportunity to allow those generations to blend into me. I asked questions, I observed, I was very passionate about learning, and I was very passionate about people. I really wanted to understand people because I wanted to understand who I was. So when you're young and you want to understand who you are, you look out and you find it. You go find who you are. Before you look inside, you look out. And that's what I happen to do. And again, mom being a Navy nurse and us bouncing around to all these different bases, a lot of my friends, their fathers were Marines. So they've got these principles, right? That they're raised on, whether it's in the Marine Corps or whether they got it from their father or whatever. There's principles they're raised on. And some of those things, again, I observe them, I see them, I see how they're interacting with their family. I see how they're interacting with their sons, daughters, whatever, and their friends. And I'm like, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it's supposed to look like. So with that in mind, I said, okay, this is what I want my life to look like. Again, I can change the legacy of what I got in front of me. I can't necessarily go back and change that, but I can be proud of who I am, embrace that, and go forward. Now, that allowed me to grow up a lot faster than maybe some of my peers, but there's some of my peers who've been through worse, but they made some conscious decisions to, stay where they are. Some made a conscious decision to, step out and do what I'm doing and make the most of their situation. So all things considered, yes, had a lot of people pour into me. Yes, did a lot of personal development on my own. Took the time to say, man, people need people. With that in mind, you need to understand how those interpersonal relationships work and what networking can do for you. And when you do that, books, YouTube videos, whatever, all those things blend in. Listening to people like you who want to do something positive, whether it's for the community, your family, whatever, those are the people you listen to, and you take that in if you know it's something that you want. The future you will always appreciate and embrace the current you if you're trying to get there. Okay, you got to start with the end in mind. Use that imagination so you can get there. It's necessary. Mm-hmm. It's a key. So yeah, I'll leave it there for now.
And that's I couldn't say it no way better. Too many people make excuses for their situations. Yeah. I didn't grow up without a father. Quite frankly, if you want to really be honest, you didn't grow up without a father. The thing about it is we're raised by strong women that have poured into us enough and different people around us that guided us in the direction in which we needed to go. And, yeah. And a lot of times people make that their excuse. They make that their excuse to, well, this is the reason why I'm this way, or this is the reason why my future is going to end this way. At the end of the freaking day, the only person that dictates what is going on and what your life is going to end up is you. Not the past, but your future. What are you going to make that future look like is really the biggest thing to everything. Networking is truly the key. It does not matter who you are, what you do, how powerful you feel in your position. You always need to constantly network because those are the people that's going to really allow you to change that legacy. Change that legacy, man. So understanding the power of investing and creating a diverse portfolio. Are you currently looking at any other opportunities? And you don't have to be specific, but of those opportunities that you're looking at, What are some things that now that you have been through it, you're analyzing from the different perspectives or the different opportunities that's being presented to you?
Sure. So some of the things that I'm looking to diversify my portfolio right now, looking at a restaurant. I'm here in Monterey, like I said, looking at a restaurant now, and I've got a solid group of friends who we want to practice group economics, and we want to get together and figure out a way to invest in this project. Again, it's just an idea. Again, we're still waiting on some of those books and some of those things to where we can make an educated decision. So that's one thing. Another, we're looking at trying to open up a 501c3 for the youth locally. And with that in mind, is it going to do something for us, like off the top? No, but we have a lot to offer. We feel like we have a lot to offer, you know, and it's no longer enough for me to just do for me. Again, you can't build a legacy if there's no legacy that can continue it. So we just want to be able to do that with the local community and give them an opportunity to grow, expand, and show their talents off. I will be more than happy with an opportunity to invest in a building and figure that out so that we can get these kids to the level that you and I are at now, to where they're making a business. They have investors looking into them and their talents. Another thing, to diversify, I just want to continue to understand and research different stocks. Right now, we're in a very interesting time, a downturn, and we're looking, in time, it's going to come back up. We know that. So right now is the time to really think, all right, what's smart, what's going to go up, and, buy low.
Yeah. And you know what? I tell you what, and this is unscripted. This is 100% facts. When you get to the point that you want to open that 501c, let me know. We're willing to invest into that opportunity, because at the end of the day, the biggest thing that we can take from this right now is that our kids is the future of this nation. We are the future of this nation. The stuff that happened in the 60s and the 70s, we can always talk about it, but at the end of the day, it's 2020. What are we going to do about it? And right now, it's too many things in life. People are focused on, myself, me, how I can do me better. Pour into them kids, because them kids is what's going to make you rich. Those kids, the way you develop them, they're always going to put you on that pedestal. And that's what it's all about, man. So whenever you get that out, whenever you get all the strategic stuff behind that going, pitch it to me. I want to hear it. Outside of everything else, man, what's crazy is too many times we find ourselves in a mindset where we're locked in on development of us, right?
Yeah.
And trying to do what people say is the stuff that we should be doing, i.e., buying a house, i.e., getting your education, i.e., furthering your education, i.e., going to work for somebody's company.
Oof.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the most poisonous stuff that you can put in your brain is, I'm going to do all of this to go give my talents to somebody else and make their company better, make their company bigger, make their company all of this other stuff, right? One thing about investing is there are other ways to invest money without having money. A billionaire said, I don't know the name either, but I do remember watching it. He said, too many times people want to sit money into a bank and then say, well, I got all this money in the bank. Okay, let me give you a little backstory on what the bank is doing. They're using your money that is sitting into your account, taking that money and investing into stocks, into loans, into other things that's going to pay them an interest. Interest is what gets banks money. So the more loans they have out here with interest rates, that's more money they got coming in. So when you sit your money in a bank and just letting it, quote unquote, accumulate, you're cheating yourself, right? When you're young, this is the time to invest. I'm going to give two scenarios where investing money changed the narrative or the legacy for people. And those two things are baby boomers after the Great Depression. The companies that were created after the Great Depression end up coming into billion-dollar corporations that we see in today's era. Secondly, it's 2008 when we had that recession. Housing crashed. Stock market crashed. 2 years later, actually, let's take a step back. 2008, you lost 27%. 27% of your profits. Fast forward 2010, you made almost 72% of your profits back. So many times people are looking at this time like, oh my God. You know, now everybody's waking up and like, yeah, let's invest into, let's buy Apple, let's buy Nike. What you should be looking at is buying those companies that you know are going to flourish and take off. Stocks are low. Buying Carnival stock wouldn't be a bad idea. Buying Hertz or Enterprise stock wouldn't be a bad idea. Hint, hint. But what I'm getting to is, while you're young, it's no point of sitting here letting your money just grow in a bank account. Invest it somewhere where you have an interest and you're getting that money back. This is what Virtual Smoke Deck is all about. This is the conversations that we must have, is investing that money into a point where you have an interest coming off. And that was the bulk of your deal with me. Investing a percentage to get a percentage that you're going to constantly get. And that's what we all have to think about. When you invest money, you're not doing it because you want to be nice. You're doing it to get a financial gain and a bigger financial security and create a more diverse portfolio.
Yes.
And that is exactly what Brandon illustrated. And I'm glad he hit on it, because too many times, man, oh my God, people want to brag about having 50,000 in a bank account, 100,000 in a bank account. Now, I'm not saying that's no small chunk of change. You can do some damage with that. No doubt. Let me tell you something. You're not rich if you got $100,000 in your account. That don't make you wealthy. Make you well off. Don't make you wealthy.
Right.
You're wealthy when you're able to take that $100,000 and turn it into $1 million. Take that $1 million and turn it into $10 million. Take that $10 million and turn it into $100 million. Take that $100 million, and I think y'all can grasp on where I'm going next. Just continue it and make it going.
Yeah. And if you would allow me to interject here.
Absolutely. It's all you.
All right. There's a couple things. So I recently did a speech on financial empowerment during Juneteenth in Carmel here in California. And some of the things I talked about just off the top. One, the most expensive and most valuable currency in the world is your energy. Your energy. Now, how I invest my energy is the experience that I'm paying for. You understand? So take this. If I invest my energy in learning how to become wealthy, if I invest my energy in learning how to create a business of my own, if I invest my energy in these things that are for me and for my legacy, and I'm allowing myself to be financially empowered, I'm paying for that experience tenfold when I get it all. It's going to come back because I've decided to do the work for it. Okay? I've done the work. I've put in the energy to get this energy to come back to me. That's important. That's extremely important. Now, some of the other big things that I hit during the speech, I call my financial philosophy the 33. Okay, the 33. Now, the first 3 in that are the 3 major relationships that you need to foster and cultivate to make sure that you can go forward with any financial venture of your own. One is the relationship with yourself or God, right? One and the same if you know, right? Two, the relationship with your significant other, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to affect you monetarily, how the two of you treat each other, how the two of you view each other, how you view yourself, right? That's important. Your children, are you going to allow a system to come in between you and your child to where now it's force-fed that you have to give a certain amount of money when really the father and the mother could have figured out a way to work something out together to provide not only for their family, but for one another. And now their relationship is better for it, right? Okay. And the third relationship is a relationship with family and the local community. Okay. Your local community, these are the people you're going to be doing group economics with. These are the close friends you're going to be doing group economics with. So those things are important. If you establish those things and you have those relationships set, you can do anything as long as you have the good intentions to do so. And these people that you're working with are aligned with that thought. Okay, so those are the three relationships. The three driving tenets for those relationships, you want to apply each of those relationships to these three tenets, okay? One, you need to have a maximum mindset. So if you have an opportunity to, okay, I can sell 3 things today, but it's only for the goal, my max goal, which is I need to sell 100,000 things by the end of the year so that I can reach my goal. If you're starting with, I just want to be a millionaire, or I just want to be 100,000-aire, whatever you want to say, right? Whatever goal you have, you can either decide to limit yourself with it, or you can say, I'm going big. If I don't hit it, that's okay. I want to be a billionaire. Well, if you're a millionaire, based on what you end up doing, you're not bad off. You didn't hit your goal, but guess what? That maximum mindset allowed you to do things that you probably wouldn't have done otherwise. You know, you forced yourself to step into that. Okay, so that's that. The next driving tenet is education and wisdom. And with this one, this is literally you doing the work. So all 3 of those relationships, you got to educate every single one. Yourself, your significant other, your family group, and your community, okay? Educate each one so that now you can talk the lingo of money. You can talk the lingo of stocks. You can talk the lingo of investing. You know, no one wants to sit at the table with someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. It's not going to go well. It's just not, okay? And lastly, networking and mentorship. Same deal. Like you were saying earlier, if you have those people who are already there, or you have those people who are in that mindset and you're networking with them, y'all are exchanging ideas and conversation, what you have the opportunity to do is literally thrust yourself forward because you're not recreating a wheel of thoughts. People are investing time and energy into you so that you can be a little bit ahead of the game than maybe you would have been without them. So again, that's my 33, man. Self, significant other, community, and close friends. And then those driving tenets, networking, mentorship, education, and knowledge and wisdom. And then lastly, having that maximum mindset. Okay, I think that's my 33 philosophy right there. And that's what I put out at Juneteenth because, again, our bodies were physically released, but our minds were not.
Wow.
And we needed everything. We needed all to be successful. No one's going to respect a people with no economic base to what they're doing. Nobody respects that. No one's going to back that. If we have that economic base, we'll be okay. But we got to get there.
Yeah. And that's deep, man. That is definitely deep. Self, your spouse, then your community. A lot of people try to take out that second one and they say, look, I can do it all by myself. The thing that has got us where we are right now is having Renisha Jackson on our team look at me in my eyes and be like, nope, that's stupid. Do it this way. Or I see the passion, I see the understanding behind it, but why don't you look at it from this angle? And that's the sole purpose of having her, is to have that mindset where I may see something one way, she sees it different, but allows me to see the whole entire spectrum in a different way. And then the self-education, that wisdom part, that, oh my God. You know, I just hope people were taking notes, because what you just dropped right there, those are the gems that I'm talking about that's getting dropped on this virtual smoke deck that a lot of people are missing. That network is key. Brandon, me and you shared not too long ago, actually last week, that you sat down with your first millionaire. I remember the first day I sat down with mine. It made me feel awkward. And it wasn't awkward like, oh my God, he's a millionaire. It was awkward because I wanted to make sure I understand what I want to understand things he understands in his way of understanding it. Because the way he understood that is what made him a millionaire right now.
Say that. Yes, sir.
Too many times we want to sit here and have conversation with our friends because it's comfortable. Take yourself out of those comfortable situations. And when you really get yourself out of those comfortable situations and you get around people where, you know, just a little jibber jabber that you have come out your mouth is not wise enough. You know, in the Bible it says, and don't quote me on this, I'm more Medea quoting right now, but you don't understand a fool is a fool until they open their mouth. But guess what? When you open your mouth, no matter who you're around, if you're educated and you have that wisdom and you have that understanding of networking and you have that self-love for yourself, you're going to be able to get yourself to that conversation. And it's going to be a really good conversation. You know, when we were sitting down, you know all of it. When we were sitting down negotiating the lease, man, I'm just a young black kid coming from the 45 minutes south of Chicago, where not too many people know how to run a business outside of a t-shirt business, reselling jewelry, different things of that nature. And I'm not trying to bash on nobody's thing. And before I go on too, what's up, Costin? What's going on, Darnell? My man Darnell is doing. He does Vortex too. He's out here in Jacksonville. I told him about you when me and him talked not too long ago.
Okay.
But anyway, awesome. Yeah. But anyway, we were at the negotiations for the lease. Had no freaking idea what I was doing. But one thing I do know is I have a strong wife and I'm educated myself. So you can try to throw stuff at me, but just know I'm gonna go back and read on it. I'm gonna go and find out the information. And hey, Brandon, we got a good deal, didn't we?
We got a great deal.
And that's based off of using this brain and self-educating and using that network around me to ask those hard questions that we didn't know. Man.
It's real.
Man. You know, it's just crazy. So many people lock themselves up in their mind, man. They lock them up. Did y'all know Albert Einstein used 10% of his brain? 10% of his brain. Just think of that. One of the smartest men in the world, use 10% of his brain. So what if we, as individuals that walk around using not even a 0.5% of their brain every freaking day, just use 5% of it, 8% of it, 10%. The things that you will be able to fathom in that brain, it's ridiculous.
That's right.
It's ridiculous. Educate that mind, man. Kind of switching gears a little bit. Let's dive into the work that you're doing in your community. I know one of your key points on 33, your first three, was community and understanding your community. So let's dive into the things that you're doing in Monterey. I know you had a great speech at the at an event out in Monterey where a lot of successful people was at. But what's the vision for what you're currently doing, what your works in Monterey, and how will that enhance your economic and social? How is the work that you're doing is going to enhance the economic and social issues that is going on in that area right now?
Yeah. Man, so there's a lot there. So just give me a moment to break this down. So one, if people don't know, the Naval Postgraduate School is where I'm pursuing my master's degree. Okay. Navy School here in Monterey, California. Again, my degree is in electrical engineering. Well, excuse me, I'm pursuing a degree in electrical engineering for my master's. And here we have an association called the National Naval Officers Association, or NNOA. Now, I was recently elected as the president for this organization. And prior to that, I was part of revitalizing the chapter here in Monterey Bay. I say all that to say I was initially the community outreach lead for the program. So I had an opportunity to make a lot of genuine connections here in the community. And one of those major connections was with someone who worked at Monterey High School. At Monterey High School, they have a program called the Huddle and a program called the Pearl Status. Now, these are both mentorship programs. The Pearl Status is for young women, and the Huddle is for young men, okay? The Pearl Status started it off, and the guy said, hey, we want one too. We want a mentorship program. We want some of these gems to come from some of these folks with experience. So nonetheless, when we made that connection, I had an opportunity to reach out and find a way to get some of these military officers into Monterey High School and talk to some of these young kids. Now, not necessarily to make them more privy to the military, but nonetheless to give them some gems as they transition out of high school to the real world. There are just certain things you're not going to get from your immediate surroundings. So we just wanted to give them an opportunity to have a conversation with us. Maybe there's something different. Maybe we strike a chord that some others can't, that are around them. So that's one thing I do, putting myself in that mentorship program and bringing people with me to get more mentors for those younger kids. And these kids are already going off to college. They're starting their own businesses. They're killing it in the STEM game. They're doing all kinds of great things. And there will never be a time that they didn't know the Naval Postgraduate and how they had mentors who potentially helped them in the future. That's one thing. And mind you, we intend to expand that program. Had an opportunity to meet with the mayor of one of the local cities here and express the idea to him to try to expand that. So now we can try to dip into some other high schools and provide them some mentors as well. That's one thing. The next thing, we're working on that 501c3 that I was referring to earlier. Again, it's going to allow the youth in the environment to get some leadership classes.
Brandon, not to cut you off real quick, you off, that same train of thought. For everybody that don't know, a 501c is a nonprofit organization. It's a nonprofit organization where you're setting up, think of it more of a, for the people that are inner city, think of it as a girls and boy club, right? So continue on, sorry.
No problem. Thanks for that. Thanks for that clarification. So what we want to do is we want to provide the youth in the area with leadership classes, mentorship, apprenticeship opportunities, and lastly, physical fitness regimens to include MMA, boxing, and some other things, and just straight up fitness programs, just to reach their goals, whatever they may be. And we're trying to get this group started as early as 13, all the way through young adulthood up to 25. Okay, whoever's willing to come in. 13 to 18 is probably going to be our starting range, but then again, we intend to expand to 25, just so we can get some of those folks who are in the streets or doing whatever, or just anyone who wants this opportunity. They can take advantage of it, and they can leverage some of our experience again. So that's another thing. Next, some of the things that we want to do, we intend on getting some of the locals out here to cooperate and start this women's initiative with a program that'll allow Monterey touring vehicles. They're going to come out, bring some of their old school cars that they have, and we're going to sit some of the ladies in the community in those cars, let them drive them around, and they're going to show all the ladies of any age, hey, you can have this car. You can do this. This is for you. This car is for you. A lot of the young ladies may feel like This is a man's world. I understand that that narrative, but nonetheless, let's squash that. Let's get this done. Let's put you in the front seat, and there's nobody else in there but you. Let's do that. So again, that's another opportunity. And then there's so many more, man. I wish I could tell you all of them. Hold on, let me think of one more. Another one here at the Naval Postgraduate School as well. We're getting kids to experience this thing called MPS Day, where it's a lot of STEM related opportunities. We want to bring kids in from the local high schools, and the campus has done this before in the past. And I had an opportunity to volunteer last year, and I want more kids from all over the county to be able to experience this. It was such a great opportunity. It just exposes you to more. Until you're aware of certain things, you can't even imagine it. So until you can imagine something, you can't even see it in your future. So you can't manifest it yourself. So these kids, when they get it early, they say, wow, it is possible to be an engineer. It is possible to have this car. It is possible to do these things. So if it's possible, now the only thing that's limiting you is you. But until you get that point, that bottom point of awareness, it's hard to imagine that. So a lot of things, man, we got a lot going on, a lot we want to do. And the last thing I'll mention for now, being the president of the National Naval Officers Association here in Monterey Bay, we're working diligently with the president of the school, who was a previous admiral, retired now, and she really wants to dig deep into diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we're doing a lot of that work. Had a conversation with her. It was recorded. It's up on my NPS, my Naval Postgraduate School. You can Google it, whatever. It's up there. And nonetheless, she wants to be able to have that conversation. She wants to make those challenging conversations normal so that we can do something for not only the local community, but something for the military too. And the Secretary of Defense has recently asked for all commands to come up with a game plan that will increase this notion of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we're working hard with the campus members to get that done as well.
That's deep. That is deep, man. That's some powerful stuff. I think a lot of people need to try to do more in their community. To be honest, having those different mindsets, having those mentors as a kid is what changed me. From going my destructive way that I was headed down when I was a kid, was having those mentorships, having those 501Cs out there that are, pouring into the youth, no matter how troubled they may seem, and just really uplifting them. And I'm thankful for the mentors, and I'm thankful for the mentors that y'all are going to become for these students, because I tell you one thing, that they're going to remember you. They're going to remember all the work that you're doing. And that's something that I want to partner up with some people out here in Jacksonville to do for Duval County schools. And that's simply just allowing, kids to see a different outlet or different way of understanding than what they normally see day in and day out. I have a 13-year-old, soon to be 14-year-old daughter. And we talk about it all the time. I tell her, just be cognizant of what you say to these kids that you go to school with, because you never have a clue what they're going through and the things that they actually see on a day in and day out basis. And it's up to you to sit here and be that helping hand. You have a great household. Everything is not perfect, but you have somebody that shows you love and affection. You have those that tell you can conquer the world. That you have that ability to be able to speak your mind, to speak what you believe, and not get penalized for it, or get a foot thrown down your throat for it. And I say that in a metaphorically way, not in an actual way. But the thing about it is, what you're doing is definitely something that we as men and women needs to do. This world that we're living in now is really becoming a woman's world. The song, "This is a man's world," it's no longer that philosophy anymore. This is a diverse world where we have to understand that everything we do, everything that we have been through, can be a lesson that you're going through. And being an officer in the Navy as well, that is one of those biggest things that really is going to help you and going to make you a more of a milestone within your mess is, being able to understand that and understanding that, the politics, the things that we used to go through in the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, whatever the case may be, is not the norm anymore. You can't just say things and treat people the way they want. You want to treat them based on what you believe about them. You have to have that diverse mentality to be able to educate and mentor and mold them. And that kind of leads me to one of our last topics, and is the work you're doing with the NSP, the NPS.
Yes.
NPS.
Yes.
And the being the president of the Naval Officer Association is really big, man. But let's talk about how those things are going to come together to make not only the Navy but make the military better.
Yeah. So, man, so what I see personally is, well, one, I'll say this: it's hard to keep a maximum mindset when your view on certain things or certain people or certain traits is very narrow, right? So with that in mind, you have to consciously tell yourself, listen, and educate yourself and say, what are the real differences in people? What are the real differences that have allowed our communities to become so segregated? And when I say that, I mean, what is the point of understanding that at the end of the day, we have the human race, right?
Yep.
Everybody will say that, but then when they go outside and they see somebody that doesn't look like them, there's some kind of unconscious bias attached to how they're thinking about that person. So now that that's the case, you've put somebody in a box, and it's easier for you to be comfortable and content with people who look like you than not. So I think that the goal of these efforts is to allow for our peak performance to be met by understanding that everyone is different, everyone does have different traits, but those traits will ultimately come together. Those traits and talents will come together, and they will yield an incredible result that is completely unfathomable until we do it. And it's some of the difficult things that go along with it is, again, you have to convince people sometimes that that's the way it should be. Sometimes you have to convince people that they're not the best. But if you only took an idea that maybe I presented to you, you incorporated it into what you're doing, now you can be the best at what you're doing. But it's not until we had an opportunity to converse and share ideas and knowledge and wisdom that opportunity was afforded to you to be the best. So again, my goal in these efforts with diversity, equity, and inclusion is to understand that we can take ideas and wisdom from everywhere and be the best, operate at our peak performance, and allow everyone to enjoy the experience through love and not through anything else. You know what I mean? Boxes, hate, segregation, all that stuff is limiting. That's not a maximum mindset. That is a limiting mindset for somebody. And to be able to be a team, we preach teamwork all the time. But if we're not actually being a team and including everybody in the team, then you're not going to get the best out of that team. So again, we need to understand people to the point to where we can utilize and leverage their talents and abilities and maximize the efforts of the team.
And that right there is spot on, and I think the work that you're doing is not only, we also often look at it as in a small lenses, and we don't understand how big our work is actually going to go. Brandon, I said it when I was in the Navy, and I continue on and say it. You're one of the few great leaders that I have met in the Navy.
Oh man,
and I don't say that, based on our relationship. I say that, based on how I have seen you work. Excuse me. How I've seen you work, and the Navy really has an asset on their hands. But you understand as well as I understand, you're still a small fish in the sea. And as you go higher in your naval career, if you decide to go higher in your naval career, I really feel like you're going to make an everlasting impact on how the Navy will operate and how your commands that you will be blessed to go to is going to be able to use you as an asset. And understanding that mindset right there is really what we need to see in the Navy. And this next question is going to take us off of where we were actually going, but I think it's something that we need to speak about. And I know everybody is about to bash me for it, so let me go ahead and get my Google on real quick. Vanessa Gilliland, her situation is no different than what you see on a day-to-day basis. I was talking to my wife not too long ago, and actually today, and I said, what's crazy is we've seen one rape case, in my career. They're there. We're not going to sidetrack it. But getting more and more people to come out and speak on, the Me Too movements of, how they were sexually harassed, sexually assaulted in the Navy, Air Force, Marines, and let alone the Army. As a leader that's standing in front of us, what's your take on that?
Well, so, okay, let me clarify first. Is it on that situation, or is it how leadership should be during that situation, or what exactly? I just want to make sure I got the question right.
Yep. Sorry. I did kind of wrap it up pretty quick. The question is, from a leadership perspective, where do you feel the leadership went wrong in her situation? And what do you feel like leaders in those predicaments when sailors are presenting, or airmen or Marines or soldiers are present those type of situations? What is some of the mindset and the things that must happen immediately from a leadership perspective where you are?
Oh, sure. Okay, got it.
That makes sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. So, man, I'll tell you what, the hard work is the hard work that needs to be put in. I'll tell you that right now. And what I mean by that is there shouldn't be an automatic, I think a lot of times there is an automatic, well, what did you do? An automatic victim blaming in that sense. So back when I was at the Naval Academy, I had an opportunity to be the executive officer of the Sexual Harassment Assault Prevention Education Group. And a lot of the things we learned were included. You have to understand that, one, you want to make sure people are okay. Make sure they're okay. The fact that they're coming to you with a situation like that means that they may be in distress. They may need immediate assistance. It goes on and on. There are certain things that need to happen right there. And one of those things is making sure they're okay. Next, get them and show them the resources necessary to make sure that, especially if you're not qualified, because a lot of us as military officers are not qualified to handle the details, right? But you get them the resources who can handle those details. Next, if you're not the top of the line person who needs to know that, you need to share that information. Do not hold that a secret. Do not try to be the therapist, the psychologist, or anything like that. Yeah, you don't want to be that person. There's somebody ahead of you who's got the experience, the knowledge, and wisdom, and again, the resources to be able to handle these things. So you want to make sure, one, they're okay, so that you can take them to these resources and get them the help they need. And lastly, follow up with these people and make sure that they are, in fact, getting that help. Because last thing you want to do is say, okay, wipe your hands clean of it, and then, they think they're getting help, or you think they're getting help, and they're not getting what they need. So just continue to follow up with these people and make sure that those resources are taking care of them. If they need a little advocacy in that avenue, be that advocate. Make time and continue to be compassionate towards that individual. I don't care what you think your truth might be as a person listening. If someone brings something like that to you, Be a leader, be compassionate. The hard work goes a long way, and just make sure they know that you're there, okay? Because they came to you for a reason. There's a reason for it. And don't make it selfish. Don't make it about you. It's not about you. It's about that person. So if you can stay in that bigger picture mindset, I don't think leaders can really go wrong. But if you decide that you want to speak out on it and say something that's out of pocket or insensitive, I think that's a mistake that's being made by some leaders out there in our military branches. Excuse me.
And you're absolutely right. One thing that I am going to add to that is, too many times those people that are victimized feel like their voice doesn't matter. Nobody cares about them. They're a junior sailor. They're a junior a soldier, airman, Marine. And because it was my sergeant, or it was my master sergeant, or it was my, chief, or it was my, whatever. I don't give a damn what it is, right? Nobody deserves to go serve their country and be treated, in such disgust within while they're serving their country. As a man that was one in the Navy, and then two that has a wife in the Navy, I wish a mother freaker would. I'm gonna tell you that off the jump. I wish a mother freaker would come up and sexually assault my wife, let alone my daughter. Bro, fuck 9/11. We gonna have to worry about something way bigger than 9/11 going on, because we gonna have it. And too many times that I've seen, and as we watch this thing called Invisible War on Netflix or Amazon Prime, sorry, it's about women speaking out on their rapes. It's like, us as leaders, we have to be cognizant not only of our female sailors, but our male sailors too, because that's happening in those parts too. But we have to speak up and step up as, a man. I've seen it so many times where, master chiefs and, lieutenant commanders and commanders will be extra nice to certain females. And you can see the botherness on their face, the unwanting attention that they're getting on their face. If I can see it, everybody else should be able to see it. So I tell you one thing, as as a friend to you, and as somebody that's in a leadership position, I will always challenge you to make sure you call out BS when it's presented to you. See that stuff for what it is and get it corrected, because there's no reason why, anybody should be degraded in that type of manner when they come in the military. That ruffles my feathers, especially, with three daughters, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy. But I think we as leaders, as people, regardless if you're in the military or not, it's our job, it's our duty to stand up for those people that can't stand up for themselves. And it's never right to victimize. It's never right to ask them what did they do. It doesn't freaking matter what they did. They could have been belligerent drunk. That does not mean they should get raped. They could have been trying to get a better performance evaluation. That doesn't mean that they need to do sexual relation things in order to accomplish that. There is things that is happening that we have to be the change of it. And that goes into everything that we have talked about today, and mentoring, and seeing equality, diversity, diversity and inclusion. We have to, be better at that and be better, man. Well, you know what, Brandon? Today was a great freaking conversation, and I think we hit a lot of great things. People are saying that, they want to know why you joined the Navy, and I think that was that's touched on in the very beginning, with your mother being a Navy nurse, and that's being what you've seen. You went to Naval Academy, but in a very short response, tell us why you joined the Navy, and what's the plan from here?
Sure. So, and thanks for whoever asked that question. I think so. One, just because my mom was a Navy nurse Never anticipated being in the military myself because I said, you know what? As a little kid, I'm tired of moving around. I hate moving around. I want to stay with my friends. You know what I mean? You know how little kids talk. My friends are here. I don't want to leave. But what I ended up seeing was, again, my mom was able to bring in these principles into the household. My friends, their families were able to bring these principles into the household, and these were principles I held dear growing up. So with that in mind, I said, you know what? I think the best opportunity for me to make sure I have these principles locked into who I am, into my character, I should be a part of this, or at least experience it. And I had a great friend of mine who ended up going to the Naval Academy prep school before me, played basketball, and I wanted to do what he did. We loved sports in high school. I wanted to follow his lead there. Great guy, great leader. And with that in mind, I said, all right, cool, man. I'm going to follow your lead. Let's check this out. Applied to the Naval Academy, was blessed to get accepted, fought my way through there, and graduated. And again, it was about more than me. It was about the impact that comes after that. It was about the impact that comes during that, for more people, for my legacy, and for everyone who's watching me. So yeah, man, it's just, I joined to have that impact. I joined to understand what impact looks like and why this organization is so revered in American society today and remains that. So that, I think, overarching, those are the big deal principles as to why I joined. Get that character.
Absolutely, absolutely, brother. And I appreciate you today for stopping by the virtual smoke deck to have a cigar with your boy. Everybody, give a round of applause for my man Brandon Carter. He is our investor here at Dapper D's. If you haven't seen already, go follow him on Facebook at Brandon E's Carter, and also on Instagram at Carter Rock 910. This dude has a lot of great things. Excuse me. A lot of great things going on, and I am excited about your future. I am excited about our growth together. And again, when that 501, when that nonprofit organization comes together, man, I want to be the first to hear about it. Let's talk. Let's make this change. Without further ado, Brandon, thank you so much for your time. We're gonna move to a couple points of our segment. Hang tight, Brandon. I would love to talk to you afterwards. All right, brother. Go.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you.
No problem. Hey, everybody. So a couple things that we're going to wrap up into before we end today. For a couple of more hours, we have our sale at Dapper D Cigars going on right now, where you're able to save 10% off your entire order. Now, 10%, a lot of people are like, oh, what is 10%? 10% is major when you already shopping low and affordable prices already. We ensure that we are not only competitive, but we also ensure that we are making sure we're satisfying everybody's needs and premium and boutique cigars. So go ahead and shop Dapper D Cigars for a couple more hours. The sale ends at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time, 8:59. Oh, excuse me, Jesus, 8:59 Pacific Standard Time, and 10:59 Central Standard Time. Without further ado, that is right here on your screen, wherever it's at. Oh, it's not coming up. Oh my God. No, it's not coming. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, couple more things that we want to go over. Also on the website, you have an option to subscribe for a chance to win a 5-count Traveler cigar case, a Cyclone torch, a Turbine Tri-Style cutter, and 5 AJ Fernandez Bella Artes Maduro Toros, which is also nominated by Cigar Journal Cigar of the Year in 2019. So you're getting a great gift for simply subscribing. Go subscribe. And on top of that, you're going to get emails, some of them Dapper exclusive deals that we have to offer here at Dapper Cigars. For everybody that's also following us on our social media platforms, the construction of Dapper D Cigar Emporium is going great. here in Jacksonville, Florida. We're going to be starting that soon. So everybody, right now, we're looking at a tentative date of doing a soft opening in August and doing a major grand opening in the November timeframe. Allows us to really get past this COVID-19 deal and, be able to have a safe, welcoming, and exciting party. So with that being said, man, I hope everybody is able to attend. Follow me on all my social media accounts, which is Dapper D's Cigars on Facebook, Jack the Cigar Enthusiast on YouTube, and Dapper D's Cigars on Instagram for all updated content on everything that's going on. I appreciate everybody that tuned in for this segment of Virtual Smoke Deck. I look forward to seeing you guys next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Man, it was great. Again, we're all looking for the gems that are coming out of Virtual Smoke Deck. Stay tuned. Stay with us. Stay safe. If you go somewhere, wear a face mask and stop the spread of COVID-19. With that being said, I'm Jack the Cigar Enthusiast, and I'm gone.